welcome viewers. Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, fresh in from training and motorcycle riding. We've been for a ride up through the mountains, had a look at some of the bushfire areas. Not real good, but we're alive. We're going to look at the Jehovah Witnesses working together. Now, this is a real strange subject because some Jehovah's Witnesses work really well together. Other Jehovah Witnesses, as you look at this fella's face, don't go too good. We've got a beautiful picture of good friends work together in the ministry, which is very, very manipulative, isn't it? But I'll just keep this playing on the side while I do about a 5-minute introduction before we go into videos on working together as Jehovah Witnesses, and we'll get some Jehovah Witnesses that have actually done it to share with us. According to Proverbs 27:17, what can result when we work alongside fellow believers, as it happened in the case of Jeremiah and Baruch? Remember, Jeremiah didn't have the guts to deliver the letters himself, so he sent his scroll to deliver the letters. And when we work alongside fellow believers and observe firsthand their endearing qualities, what about endearing qualities is one thing. What about the things you don't like? That's another, isn't it? And that's the thing that's bringing the Jehovah Witnesses undone. The backbiting, the slighting of the other, the undermining, the whinging, the whining, the talking about people behind their backs, even though you can try and make it look good and sound good. And we learn from them to draw closer to them. Some people are going to draw closer, some people are going to fall apart, and that's just the way it is. Proverbs 17:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens his friend. In some cases, yes. In other cases, there's just people that it wouldn't matter if you took to them with a millstone and tried to sharpen them up. It wouldn't make any difference. For example, how do you feel when you're in the ministry and you hear your friend boldly defend his faith or speak with heartfelt conviction about Jehovah and his purposes? Well, that don't happen anymore. You just don't see that with the Jehovah Witnesses anymore. They just don't do it. They run off. Look, this lady's saying, I don't want to talk to you. I've got nothing I have to say to you. And it goes on and on and on. But what I'll do, we'll read this next one. I'm going to put some videos up about Jehovah's Witnesses working together. And then we're going to look, for example, how do you feel when you hear your friend boldly defend his faith or speak the heartfelt conviction about Jehovah and his purposes? I haven't heard or seen one Jehovah Witness at a cart do that whatsoever. Not one. Not one in the slightest. So I'll hand you over. We'll look at some videos and then we'll go from there. Thank you for joining me. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. This is ex-Bethelite. I have been on the phone all night. I am worn out. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have not had very much sleep at all. I have been on the phone all night talking to a brother who was let go from Bethel. And we've been talking about everything. We've been talking about his experience. We've been talking about what brought him to serve at Bethel. And we have also talked about my experience, what happened to me and how he can benefit from that. Because my goal has always been to help other people in general, really, but especially other Bethelites that have gone through things, and then also too people who are thinking about going to Bethel, to give them some advice and to let them know that you want to take care of yourself, to make sure that you have a family, to make sure that you have a way of providing for that family. Because this quote unquote Bethel family will throw you to the curb at the drop of a dime. This brother helped work at Warwick. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses are just, some of the most intellectually lazy people on earth, because Warwick was definitely built with a lot of volunteers. And that is not really a credit to the organization. That's a credit to the individual people that were used to accomplish that work, where they weren't given any compensation from the organization whatsoever. I don't care what company it is, whether it be Rite Aid, whether it be Walmart, whether it be, think of any company. They are going to be able to build and sell and build and sell and build and sell if the labor they're using to build is free. See, we as Americans, we go after companies. See, we villainize companies for outsourcing the work that company does to a specific country where they can get that work done for 5 cents an hour instead of $10 an hour. Don't we? We villainize companies that take jobs from America and put them somewhere where they get the work done for cheaper than they would get the work done here. Well, Watchtower is getting work done for free. And we all know that there's no such thing as free labor. The people that do the work, that time and energy is being spent where it could be spent for the company that they work for, or it could be spent on their family, or it could be spent on their future. There's no such thing as free labor. So we're all over these companies that outsource to get work done for cheaper instead of spending the money to help the workers and the families feed themselves and everything else. Well, look at what Watchtower is doing. Watchtower is getting work done for free. If you listen to the annual meeting, they admit it themselves. This is something that they've always done. They're getting work done for free. None of this is impressive as an organization, because any organization that's getting work done for free is able to build like there's no tomorrow. They're not paying any of these people. The problem that you have are the individual people who take Watchtower's claims literal, that they're the one and only true organization. And of course, that leads to trust. They trust the organization. They trust them with their future. So they volunteer their entire lives. Bethelites, they volunteer their entire lives to that organization. The organization uses them to accomplish labor, work, construction, building Warwick. And then that same organization afterward gets rid of them. This particular Bethelite is faced with trying to figure out, should I go to college at this point? What should I do? What what should I do at this point? Because the corporation that I pretty much thought that I was going to spend my entire life working for accepted A, free labor, and B, turned a lot of that labor loose. Sent them, quote unquote, back. When you're telling people not to go to college, and there are so many Jehovah's Witnesses that flat out either A, lie that the organization never taught that you shouldn't go to college, or B, are Bible students and are new and don't know that they taught this. But yes, they have taught that. So what does this Bethelite then fall back on? What does he fall back on? We were up all night talking about the women, the sisters, essentially, that he thought about marrying. He thought about having a family. He thought about a lot of different things. There were a lot of different options. But there seemed to not be a better option than going to Bethel. And Watchtower uses these people. They have built Warwick. Warwick's built. But what about the Bethelites? This brother has been sent away, reassigned, you could say. They weren't assigned anywhere. He was told to leave after dedicating his entire life. I mean, after the vow of poverty, after everything else. And you guys, you really have to understand, as a Bethelite, to this vow of poverty and all this stuff, there are people that do little side jobs. They work at Bethel, they do the morning worship, they do all of this stuff, the congregation, everything. And they do what is called G jobs. They do the little side jobs. They basically get an additional job where they can make money. Here's these people that are doing all this, and they have to listen to all these people that are talking about, oh, Watchtower just takes care of Bethel. You're talking about people who intellectually are these are the laziest people on earth. How are they taking care of them? They don't know. They just assume they are. They haven't looked into it. Jehovah's Witnesses don't look into what's going on with Bethelites. They don't concern themselves with what's going on with the individual people. The only thing they care about is an organization that they put on a pedestal that they shouldn't put on a pedestal. You're dealing with a situation where you're basically involved in idolatry. You have put an organization, you call it the organization. This organization, you call it the truth. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. A Bethelite that has served and helped build Warwick has been let go. What is he supposed to do now? Supposedly it's Jehovah's will that Warwick was built. Well, what about the tradition? You don't see Mormons selling Utah and the things that they have accumulated during the years. But you let me know what you think. 937-789-4029.